Hey guys, uh, I'm currently live. To be completely honest, I had no idea if I was going to be able to do this because, like I said, some of you may or may not have seen my community post that I made this morning, saying that I had this morning. Okay, I'm gonna let y'all know what happened last night. I was not feeling myself at all. I was like cold last night, and yet I was wearing I was wearing like track pants, like I guess like workout like pants you would wear like sweats. I was wearing a long sleeve shirt and like track pants or sweats, or workout sweats and whatnot, and I was cold. When I woke up this morning, I felt warm, if not a little hot. Checked my temperature because I knew something was up. And turns out I had a temperature of 99.6. So, so what I immediately did was I took an ibuprofen, and then I got me a Canada Dry ginger ale, put it in the freezer, got it cold so I could, and so and now, and then as of like 12:30 p.m., I checked my temperature and it was 98.4. So I'm hoping that I am better. I'm hoping I feel better. I feel better, but still now I seem to have a little bit of a cough. So I don't know. Hopefully it's nothing more than just a regular old flu bug or whatever. But I was not feeling good this morning, but I definitely feel a little bit better now. But again, I just wanted to let y'all know, in case some of you did not see that post that I made to my community tab. But yes, I did have a bit of a temperature this morning. So, uh, whew, yeah, I did not feel well. I did not feel good. But I definitely do feel better, and so now this basically, you know what this is. If you see the title, you know what this is, Wrestling Week in Review. So let's get into it. Let's get into it. Hey Austin. Yeah, I don't know if you saw my post that I made on Facebook, or if you even saw my post that I made to my community tab on YouTube, but I did have a bit of a slight temperature this morning when I got up this morning, so I didn't feel good. I feel better now, but still, I just wanted to let you guys know. Oh God, yeah. See, now I got a cough. But I am going to power through it, and I'm going to get through this live stream, hopefully with no major problems. Well, okay, let's see. Let's just get into it. Okay, Raw. You guys know how I feel about Monday Night Raw. What I've been saying basically for the past couple of times is that it's been hit and miss. It's hit and miss for me. Raw is usually hit and miss. As of the last month or so, we've had Monday Night Raws that were complete duds, almost as bad as the Raw after WrestleMania, but not quite. We've had Raws we had one Raw that was actually pretty darn good, if not the best Monday Night Raw of the entire year so far, at least post-WrestleMania, at least before the WrestleMania weekend. Nothing really exciting happened this week on Monday Night Raw except for Finn Balor versus Seth freaking Rollins at Money in the Bank for the World Heavyweight Championship. I actually do not know who's going to win that match because I could see Finn winning it. I could see this being the moment when Finn finally, I guess, redeems himself and finally after having beaten Seth Rollins the first time they ever met in the ring for the first ever for the inaugural Universal Championship, I could see him winning and finally getting that world title run that he was supposed to have with the Universal title, but wasn't able to because he had to. Obviously, we know what happened. He got injured, so he had to relinquish the title due to injury, and he never recovered after that. I mean, he eventually became a two-time Intercontinental Champion, but he was never ever. But he was just never thrusted into the main event ever again. And only when he came back. And if you think about it, before he joined the Judgment Day, the best success that Finn Balor ever really had was actually in NXT. His first run in NXT was pretty darn good, where he was the original record holder for the longest, where he held the original record for the longest reign as NXT champion at like 290 something days, I think. But then obviously we know Adam Cole blew that record out of the water eventually. And then even his second run in NXT was I think even better because he turned heel for the first time, which was not expected. It was great. I mean, sometimes I feel like heel versus heel matches can be good if booked properly. But at the time, it was like Adam Cole was this big heel, the leader of the Undisputed Era, which is a heel faction. Him going up against another heel, I don't know how that works, but apparently it worked. And the matches were really good. But yeah, Monday Night Raw wasn't that good. It wasn't terrible, but I didn't watch. Most of what I saw was not much. Like, we got a singles match between Raquel and Shayna, which didn't make much sense to me, but I don't know. NXT, I mean, you guys know what I feel about NXT. NXT's been good as of late. I don't know what they've been doing, but NXT has been producing actual good shows. I mean, they may not be like, if you were to like rate them out of like a 10, it's not like they're like 8 out of 10 or 8.5 out of, it's not like they're like 8.8, 8.5 or 9 out of 10 or what, but they usually can consistently be like 7 or 7.5 out of 10 because recently NXT has been really good. It hasn't been like great, but it hasn't been terrible, and it's been pretty darn good, and I'm not gonna lie. We saw Nathan Frazier beat because here's what happened. Noam Dar, for some reason, I don't know how, but he got injured. Sometime between Battleground and now, he got injured. I don't know how, but he got injured, and he was the Heritage Cup champion. And he had Ora Mensa defend the title on his behalf against Nathan Frazier. Nathan Frazier would go on to win the title. That was a pretty decent match. And he won. And I'm like, whoa, I did not expect that to happen on a regular episode of NXT. We don't usually see championships change hands on NXT. I'm pretty sure the men's tag team titles in NXT have changed hands on the regular NXT shows before. And we've had title changes on NXT before when it came to the women's and the men's world titles before, but it's very rare that we see, much less see titles actually defended on NXT, let alone title changes. But that was actually a surprising title change, and I actually like it. I like Nathan Frazier. Apparently Nathan Frazier was trained by Seth Rollins, and Nathan Frazier is fast. Like, I've seen a few of his matches. I saw his match a couple of months ago when he accepted one of Wesley's open challenges. It was that NXT where in the opening segment, when in the opening we saw this huge brawl in the hallway leading into the arena, leading to the ring area, and we saw all these superstars just hitting each other, just trying to get to Wes Lee to accept his open challenge. Nathan Frazier eventually was the one to accept it, although Dabba-Kato almost got there in time. Before, if it hadn't been for Apollo Crews blindsiding him, we would have probably gotten Dabba-Kato and Wes Lee, and that match probably wouldn't have been half as good as the one we eventually got with Nathan Frazier. There are a bunch of NXT superstars right now that I would love to see on the main roster. But then again, I don't know. Because given the way WWE likes to book the way certain NXT talent have been booked on the main roster coming up from NXT, the track record isn't very good. Track record is not very. Woo! That was just the hiccups. But yeah. Now, I'm gonna just say something. Now, I'm going to say something. When it comes to main roster superstars going down to NXT, now, whether they're going down to NXT for an extended run, like, let's say, Mandy Rose and Apollo Crews did, I mean, look at what it did for them. They were basically the best versions of themselves when they went back to NXT. Mandy Rose, she totally changed up her look. She originally just was like was obviously originally the Golden Goddess and had originally had blonde hair and wore basically, I guess, blonde or like yellow, blonde colored attire, gold colored attire and boots. And then when she came back to NXT, at first that's what she was. She wasn't Toxic Attraction version of herself when she first got to NXT. She eventually got that way as soon as when she recruited JC Jane and Gigi Dolan to form Toxic Attraction, and she was pretty dominant. I was like, before the whole thing with her OnlyFans account happened, I would have loved to see Toxic Attraction on the main roster, especially on SmackDown, because they are seriously lacking in actual talented women. I mean, you've got Asuka, you've got Charlotte Flair, you've got Bianca Belair. Who else is there? You got Bayley, who's she's good. She's great. She's really good. And she's still really good. And she could still I think Bayley could still win a women's title and hold it for a considerable amount of time, at least over 100 days, just considering what she did with the SmackDown Women's title in 2020, late 2019, early 20, and going into late 2019, going into late 2020. She basically held the SmackDown Women's title for over a year. She held the title for basically a year and became the longest reigning SmackDown Women's Champion in history. I think Bayley could still, and then there's Io Sky, who's a great women's wrestler. Then you've got like Isla Dawn and Alba Fire. They're okay. You've got, who else you got? And then you've got Shotzi, and Scarlett's not really a wrestler. She's more like a manager to Karrion Kross. So most of what you will probably see from her is just her getting involved in Karrion Kross's matches. That's about it. But when it calls for it, yes, sometimes maybe she will wrestle if it calls for a mixed tag team match. Which obviously the mixed tag team match we got last night, it didn't even last that long. I mean, some people are saying that it was kind of funny the way Scarlett was trying to seduce AJ Styles, and then Styles basically just removed one of his gloves, revealed his wedding ring, and said, I'm married, B-word. But the match should have lasted at least a few minutes longer, like maybe 5-6 minutes. I'm not gonna talk about that until I get to SmackDown. But yeah, what I was saying about former WWE main roster stars going down to NXT, like Mandy Rose, Apollo Crews, they did great in their second time in NXT. Finn Balor, another example of a superstar who went back to NXT and had, I think, a better run. I mean, you talk about NXT superstars that go up to the main roster, then come back, and seemingly have a better run the second time than they did the first time, even though their first time may have been great. I mean, Finn Balor was an NXT champion before going up to the main roster. And yet I think his second run in NXT was actually better than his first run because he was heel, and it was unexpected, and it was actually great. We actually liked it. I'm sure he eventually turned, I guess, into sort of not really a heel, but just a fan, just a wrestler that everybody just eventually just decided we respect him. He may not exactly be a. By the time he faced Karrion Kross at Stand and Deliver 2021, he may not have been an outright heel, but he was probably just a wrestler at that time that people just respected. But in terms of who recently has been coming down, then it's like Baron Corbin, Mustafa Ali, and now Humberto Carrillo and Angel Garza, those Lotharios. Like those superstars, if they are coming back down to NXT for an extended run, and it's not just an occasional appearance, and it's not just like a 3, 4, 5 appearance kind of deal. Danny Hogan, I don't know what you thought you were doing, but you can be timed out and you can be hidden. Sorry, but you are not welcome here. But yes, back to what I was saying. If Mustafa Ali, Baron Corbin, and Humberto Carrillo and Angel Garza, if they're here for an extended run in NXT, I think it could be the best thing for them. Because what exactly are all 4 of those superstars doing on the main roster? Besides, jobbing out every week. Like Baron Corbin, I think he's wrestled a lot recently on the main roster, and he's been sort of losing. But if he has some moderate success in NXT, if him coming back down to NXT is an extended run for him, and he sees some moderate success, and he starts stacking up a few wins against some established NXT stars, against some big NXT stars, and doesn't get jobbed out, then I don't mind that. Also, there have been rumors going around that Baron Corbin might be reverting back to his lone wolf gimmick, which was the very first gimmick he ever had. And quite frankly, some people, I'm sure, consider it to be his best gimmick. I know people loved the broke Corbin gimmick because it was just so funny and stupid. It was so stupid and funny that it was good. It was actually good because it was stupid and because it was funny. But I'm sure a lot of people believe that his lone wolf gimmick was the best gimmick he had. And I'm not sure because I've said this before to other people that I'm friends with that do watch WWE, but I didn't start actually watching WWE until 2019. The 20th anniversary of SmackDown, the very first Friday night SmackDown on Fox episode. That was the first time I think I had ever watched WWE. And since then, I've been so hooked. I've been so hooked on it. And I can't not see myself watching anything else now. I recently got 4 new WWE DVDs, WWE wrestling DVDs that I've watched 2 of them already. A third one I haven't been able to watch yet. And then the 4th one I just recently got, which is an NXT Best of 2017 DVD. I've already watched that, and it's great. Some of the matches that were on there were great. Like Tyler Bate versus Pete Dunn at NXT TakeOver Chicago. That match probably should have lasted a little bit longer, because I would have liked like a 20-25 minute banger from those two. But we only got 16 minutes. That's okay. But hey, I'd take Tyler Bate and Ilya Dragunov. I'd put them on the main roster, put them against Gunther. We already know, I've already told you this. I've told you guys this before. I've seen the matches that they had with Gunther. I've seen Gunther versus Tyler Bate. NXT UK TakeOver Cardiff. That match lasted at least 45 minutes, maybe 45 minutes. I mean, that has to be, I know they have 60-minute Iron Man matches, obviously, but that's one of the longest matches I've ever seen. And I've seen Gunther versus Ilya Dragunov, both matches, twice, at least twice. I've seen the first one, I think, 3 times now. The second match they had, I've seen now twice. I know if we get them on the main roster, some way, shape, or form, and we get those 2 against Gunther, those matches would be match of the year quality and match of the year contenders for sure, because I've already seen what they can do in the ring, and that was just in NXT and /NXT UK. Imagine what they can do on the main roster. The crowd would go ballistic. Hell, I would put Tyler Bate. I'm surprised Tyler Bate didn't get drafted to Monday Night Raw in the draft, because we could have gotten Gunther versus Tyler Bate for the Intercontinental Championship at Money in the Bank in basically in England, and Tyler Bate is from Dudley, England. The crowd would have gone crazy. The crowd would have gone crazy for the match. Like, WWE is seriously not capitalizing on these opportunities that they really should be capitalizing on. And as far as Humberto Carrillo and Angel Garza go, I haven't seen much of them to really know. I watched Friday Night SmackDown on Fox, and when they were on Fox, I saw them in a bunch of matches, and they're a good tag team. It's just that they've haven't been used hardly at all since their last tag team match, which I'm pretty sure. You're not the real Leanne. So you're not the real Leanne. I know you aren't. Yeah, I'm not gonna. And I know that's you, Moxley. I know that's you because Danny even told me that it's you. Yeah, but Roberto Carrillo and Angel Garza, I don't know. This second run in NXT could be good for them. I don't know if it's going to be good for them, but it should be. And Ali, what's Ali done, really? He's put on some good matches on the main roster in the last couple of months, including a great match against Gunther at the Champions, but what has he actually done? Really nothing. And if he goes back down to NXT for an extended run, it could be good for him. It could be good for all 3 of those guys. But hey, who knows? And now on to AEW Dynamite. This was a loaded Dynamite show. Pretty good. Oh, hey, Cameron. I think I'm just going to put you in timeout. Because I know you're not the real Dark Angel. I know you're not the real Leanne. And I know that's you, Moxley. But yeah, AEW Dynamite. That was a loaded show. We had an eliminator match between Adam Cole and MJF. Basically, the concept of the match is basically just the number one contenders match involving the actual champion, which doesn't make much. And I know a guy that I am subscribed to here on YouTube, JD from New York 206. I know some of you guys may not watch him and stuff, but he doesn't exactly like the concept of eliminator matches because you're basically just setting the champion up to lose. But this match was actually, I saw Cameron. It's pretty cool. I saw it. Yeah, I had to go on Facebook earlier this morning anyways, just to let everybody know that I was running a 99.6 fever this morning. My fever has gone down considerably to where it's now pretty much right at normal, but now I've got a cough. So it's like, my fever's gone down, but now I'm getting a cough, but now to compensate for my reduced fever, I'm now getting a cough. Like, what? Yeah. But hopefully I'll feel better. I don't know what I'm gonna. I usually will go to church tomorrow on Sundays, but I don't know if I still feel kind of not so good. If I still feel not so good tomorrow, I might not go to church. Thanks. Thanks, Cameron. That means a lot. Yeah, but AEW Dynamite was good. It was. And you know what? I actually, and like I was just saying, there's a guy that I'm subscribed to, JD from New York 206. He does podcasts for like wrestling and stuff. And he doesn't like the concept of eliminator matches either, because it basically, in his words, it's setting up the champion just to lose. And I actually do agree with him. I don't like that type of match, because if you're gonna have Adam Cole challenge MJF for the title, you might as well put him in a contenders. For WWE and AEW, I mean, you mean like watching AEW and WWE? Because I can't watch AEW. The pay-per-views I cannot watch because they're on Fight TV and they're like $50, and it's $50 to watch an AEW pay-per-view. Now, in terms of WWE, I do have Peacock. I have Peacock on this phone, but I am currently not subscribed as of right now because it's $4.90. The cheapest is $4.99, which yes, I can usually afford, but when I usually get my Google Play cards, I'm usually using it for other things. So I just have never been able to get. So I've never actually been able to get the subscribe to Peacock yet. Oh, and Cameron, I have talked about this for a few times now. Cameron, listen, I don't know what you should do. I don't know what you should do. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, maybe they liked you, maybe they thought you were cute. I don't know. I don't know if I'm the right guy you should be asking. Yeah, I don't really know if I'm the right guy for you to be asking me something like that. Because I don't think that's ever happened to me before where someone took my picture and I didn't like it. Because most of the time I take my own picture. Wow, it's happened twice? Well, again, I'm not really sure what to do. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I really don't. I wish I did, but that's not really in my wheelhouse. Because I've never had a girl take my picture and I don't like it. Okay, well, well, thanks for telling me anyways, Cameron. You can, yeah, on this channel, you can tell me basically just then, you can talk to me about anything on this channel. Oh, and I've also been, recently I've been allowing people, if you're like a mod and you want to put the link to your channel in the chat, in the live chat, like if you, huh, that's not you, Danny. I know that's not you. And that's basically that's Moxley, Cameron. That's Moxley, Cameron. Do not be fooled. That is not Riley Gilbert. That is not Danny, even though it has his picture. That is Moxley. Danny told me himself that that's him, that that's Danny, that that's Moxley. So, yeah. But I actually did kind of like the finish between MJF and Adam Cole. With the draw, you basically, yes, title eliminator matches. Basically, it's like a championship contenders match, one-on-one contenders match with the champion involved. And I actually kind of liked that they didn't actually let one person win over the other, because I guess in that instance you want them to go out there and have a banger match, but you don't want either one of them to lose. So they basically just avoided that by just having it in a draw, in a 30-minute time limit draw that actually made more sense. And then now they can have basically a match that has no time limit at all and just allows one of them to get the win. Yeah, if you're a mod and you want to put the link to your channel up in the chat, feel free to do so. I am based this channel while I do go live, mainly for wrestling live streams like this, or my workout live streams, which I'll let you guys know. Saturdays are the only set day that I actually am like, yes, I'm going live. It's the day that I always go live, is on Saturdays. It's the only day where I know for a fact that I am going live, because I always try to. Now, when it comes to my workout live streams, those are like sporadic. If I decide to go live for a workout live stream, yes, I'll do it. AEW was good last night. It was really good. I mean, if I had to rate it out of like a 10, I would have given it at least an 8.5 out of 10. Because, I mean, no wrestling show, whether it be like WWE, like Monday Night Raw, NXT, Impact, Ring of Honor, and no wrestling show is going to be perfect. Now, some wrestling shows can be damn near perfect. Like, let's say if you were to rate it at a 10, like an 8.5 or 9 out of 10, but no wrestling show is going to be perfect. But that AEW Dynamite this week was pretty darn close to being a perfect show. Maybe there was like one or two little things that could have been avoided at all costs, that could have been avoided. Timeouts and I don't know how these guys are coming back, because I'm hiding them, and that they're coming back. I guess they like being hidden. Oh yes. Okay, let's see if there's anything else on Dynamite that I really liked. I mean, I don't think there was anything else really on Dynamite that I actually liked. I mean, I liked the main event. The main event was great. The Elite versus Blackpool Combat Club. The Elite won, which is which it is what it is. I'm not exactly a fan of the Elite right now. I'm not a fan of the Elite. I mean, look, I respect them, but I just don't like them. Sometimes you can respect somebody and what they've done, but you don't necessarily have to like them. And I may respect the Elite, but I don't have to actually like them, and I don't. I'm a Blackpool Combat Club fan, and then we had surprisingly, I didn't think we'd ever see Eddie Kingston back on AEW because apparently he had quit. Basically, he had said he quit, and we saw him eventually within the next few days, within the next week or two, we saw him on Ring of Honor, which I thought that actually might be a good idea. Just keep him like, what was he doing on AEW anyways, except being on like Dark or Rampage? Just have him on Ring of Honor, let him accumulate a couple of wins on Ring of Honor, and then just I do see Solo Sikoa going, and I don't know when Solo Sikoa will eventually turn. It does seem like Solo Sikoa as of right now is basically that like soldier that just is completely like, I think Solo Sikoa as of right now is like that soldier that just Mr. Pickles, you can go to some place that is not Hi, user. You're hidden, Mr. Pickles. Hope you enjoy it. But yeah, and then we saw Eddie Kingston return to Dynamite. We saw him attack Claudio Castagnoli, who obviously, if you watch Ring of Honor or you have heard of their feud with each other, they hate each other with a boiling passion. It's like Eddie Kingston and Chris Jericho, like two people who just cannot stand each other, and whenever they get into the ring together, they just want to beat each other to a bloody pulp. Like CM Punk and Adam Page, I'm sure we will never see them in the ring again, but if we ever did, they'd be like, oh, I want to beat the living shit out of this guy. Sorry that I said that, but it is what it is. And then we saw Eddie Kingston and Jon Moxley have a brief interaction. It's like, oh shit, like what happens here? Like Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston are actually friends and they respect each other. So it's like, oh my gosh, what happens? Yeah, I think Solo is going to be on is going to choose his brothers eventually. Like I said, I don't know when that's going to happen. We don't know when that's going to happen because we just now got Jay Uso saying that he's out. The next logical decision is, yes, to have Solo Sikoa be out. Oh, and just so everybody is, also I want to say, if anybody is here watching and they have not hit the like button, it's not a requirement, but I would very much appreciate it. Because when I go live, I usually will like to see if I can get up to 10 likes for a single live stream. But I know a lot of my live streams have gotten over 10 likes after I finished it, but sometimes, because I think I've only had there's only been like 1 or 2 live streams I've done where I actually got up to 10 likes while I was still live. But yeah, if there's anybody here that's watching that has not hit the like button, if you want to, it's perfectly fine. Like I said, it's not a requirement, but I would appreciate it. And so we saw Jon Moxley and Eddie have an interaction. That was like, I was like, I know I've seen enough, and I've seen enough of Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston to know that they're friends and there's a mutual respect between the two of them. But how is that going to eventually? But is Eddie's hatred for Claudio eventually going to break that? Does Eddie Kingston's hatred for Claudio eventually cause them to stop being friends? Someone decided to actually make a fake account with my actual name on here. Like, come on, guys. You really must want me to time you out and to hide you, because you wouldn't be. And I'm sure some of these guys are subscribing to my channel and then coming on my live streams. Just to talk trash. And it's hilarious. I'm going live on YouTube. I'm just going live on YouTube. I actually recently did get StreamYards. I did get StreamYards recently. So eventually I will do a StreamYards live stream, I guess, on YouTube. But as of right now, when it comes to these live streams, as I do like my wrestling weekend reviews and my workout live streams, I think it's better for me to do it this way. And then if I want to do just like a regular live stream where I'm just talking to people and stuff, then yeah, I might just do a StreamYards. But hey, yeah. And then shortly after that, Kenny Omega came into the ring, and was in the ring, and all of a sudden, like, I see someone come into the ring and just whammied and just laid out Kenny Omega. And apparently that was Will Ospreay, the guy who's facing Kenny Omega for the IWGP, I guess, the IWGP US title, I guess, that Kenny Omega has. I don't know, but I think that's what the match is for. But the guy that Kenny Omega is facing at Forbidden Door, and I'm like, whoa, was not expecting that. That was interesting. But basically, that's all I wanted to say about NXT, about AEW. But now let's get on to the main attraction. The main thing that I usually will want to talk about, because Friday Night SmackDown is the show that I watch. It's the only show that I actually can watch because it's on Fox, because it's on regular TV, not cable TV like USA Network or TBS or TNT. Like, I can actually watch Friday Night SmackDown on Fox because I got that. And so the first match we got, the first thing we got was the Gauntlet Match. I thought it was an okay Gauntlet Match. It wasn't the best. It wasn't the best one because, I guess, mainly because the matches, they didn't last very long at all. Like Street Profits, they got eliminated in like 2 minutes. Good Brothers, I think, got eliminated in at least maybe like 2-3 minutes. Hit Row, like, oh, the disrespect. But then again, it might not even be disrespect at this point, because what the hell has Hit Row even done to even get an opportunity, at a possible opportunity, to face Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn? Like, why they were in the Gauntlet Match, I have no idea. They should have just kept Hit Row out and then just given some of the other teams a bit more time in the ring. Like, they should have given Street Profits at least another minute, maybe another 2 minutes. Good Brothers, maybe another minute, and the Street Profits, and then the LWO at least another minute or two. Like, they gave Pretty Deadly the most time out of all the other teams to face the Brawling Brutes in that Gauntlet match. They had the most time at like 8 minutes or something. Like, I'm sorry, but that was just weird because here, Street Profits, they only lasted 2 minutes with the Brawling Brutes. Good Brothers, at least 2 or 3 minutes. I can't remember exactly the amount of time. The Hero lasted merely 10 seconds, basically cementing cementing that they are not even close to being on WWE's radar in terms of teams to be pushing, obviously. LWO basically lasted 2 minutes, even though they were able to get some good offense in. It just wasn't enough. And then Pretty Deadly eventually won the tournament, which I guess it was, considering that they were actually the only credible heel team in the match. Good Brothers, I don't know if they're a heel team right now. Hit Row, they are a heel faction right now, but they were obviously not going to win. The Street Profits, at the moment, they are babyface, but with Bianca Belair sort of veering towards the dark side a bit, there is a chance that we could see the Street Profits turn heel. But as of right now, they're still being presented as, I guess, as a babyface team. And so Pretty Deadly was really the only heel team and only like good heel team in the match. And so I guess that's what they wanted. They wanted just a heel versus face tag team. I don't know why sometimes they can't just have a face versus face. They could have just had the Brawling Brutes win and just have this be like a, and they could have had this be just a match where both teams respect the hell out of each other. And it's a match not about heel versus face, but it's a match about mutual respect for the other team. Like, it's like WWE doesn't care, and they just think that if you're a face tag team, you have to be facing a heel tag team, or else no one's gonna really care. And that's like, who are you gonna boo? Like, who are you gonna boo if it's a face versus face team? Like, come on. But it's okay. It's okay. It's not like I don't. It's not like I don't care about the team that won Pretty Deadly, but only time will tell if they become a team that I can be invested in. And then let's see. I can't remember what we got next, but I know we got some segments, some small segments involving Roman Reigns, Paul Heyman, and then, which was pretty good because Paul Heyman, that first segment that we had, backstage segment with Roman Reigns, Paul Heyman's also go, Paul Heyman looked visibly like shaken, like he was so scared, I guess, for what was gonna happen. Like he already knew. It's like he already knew what was going to happen before it actually happened, and I like what happened. And then we got Io Sky versus Shotzi. No, Io Sky versus Zelina Vega. Bailey distracts Io, distracts the referee. Basically, the referee then has to scold Bailey for just trying to distract him. At one point, Io had Vega pinned for at least 3, maybe 5. Io then winds up jaw-jacking at Bailey, like, what were you doing? Like, what's going on here? Like, I had her, and you were, and then Zelina Vega does the 619, rolls up Io Sky for the 1-2-3, and the match barely lasted 2 minutes, maybe a little more than that. Like, okay, that's a bit crazy. And I know that some of the segments that we got probably lasted at least 10, maybe 9, 10 minutes. Like the ending segment, the main event segment lasted at least 12 minutes. The Charlotte Flair, Grayson Waller effect segment, it lasted at least 9 minutes, maybe 10 minutes. And now we get to one of the more funny parts of the show, which was the mixed tag team match with... Actually, I don't think that was the next thing after the Io Sky versus Zelina match, but I wanted to talk about that first. This first. The mixed tag team match between... between Mia Yim, again, like my guy JD from New York 206, he refuses to call Mia Yim Michin. I hate the name too, so I will continue to call her Mia Yim because that's her real name. Mia Yim and AJ Styles versus Karrion Kross and Scarlett. This match also barely lasted over 3 minutes, and apparently at one point during the match, AJ Styles, Scarlett was on the rope, was on the ring apron, and was trying to seduce, AJ Styles, twirling her hair or whatnot, or... I can't remember exactly what happened because I was watching it last night, but I don't think I actually saw that part of the match. But then AJ Styles pulled off one of his gloves. Whichever hand had his wedding ring on. He pulled off the glove, one of his gloves, and revealed his wedding ring, and said, "I'm married, B word." I'm not gonna say it on YouTube. And then that allowed Karrion Kross to use the cross jacket, and then I guess he debuted a new finishing move last night, so I'm not sure how I feel about that, but like I said with Pretty Deadly, it'll take some time before I actually for me to get used to this potentially new finishing move for Karrion Kross, but it looks good, but I don't know. Okay, and then actually I think it was immediately after the Io Sky versus Zelina Vega match, we had a backstage segment between Io Sky, Bayley, and Schatzi, where Schatzi basically told Bayley to put her money where her mouth is and put her money in the bank, her spot in the Money in the Bank ladder match on the line. Bayley, I'm sure, would have said no, but Io basically just decided, I'm gonna just answer for Bayley and say, and basically said, she accepts. And so basically, what we got tonight is basically confirmation that Damage Control is going to be splitting up. It's inevitable because last night, we got basically the most... if it wasn't clear before, it became clear with the 2 moments we got from Io and Bayley tonight. Basically with Bayley costing Io that match, and basically Io having to yell at Bayley, what were you doing? What were you doing? I had the match won. You didn't have to get involved. I know Bayley's a heel, and when you're a heel and you're part of a heel stable, you want to get involved in your stablemates matches, but sometimes it can backfire. And it basically did backfire last night, and then with Io Sky basically saying that Bayley would be more than happy to put her spot in the Money in the Bank ladder match on the line against Schatzi, it was oh. And then Bayley basically asked Io, what were you doing? Why did you do that? And she said, I was only trying to help. I was just trying to help. And what I believe happens is one of 2 things will happen. Both of which involve Bayley losing this match to Schatzi, and Schatzi gets added to the Money in the Bank ladder match. what I think happens is that either Io Sky helps Shotzi win and screws over Bailey, basically turning babyface, or we just have a regular match that does not involve any interference from Io Sky, and Bailey just loses clean. It would make more sense for Io Sky to screw Bailey over, basically turning face, and then having her win the Money in the Bank ladder match would be a good idea. And then having her cash in on Asuka, which I know it would be a better idea. It'd be a better idea than having, which I know would be good, and I'm pretty sure Io Sky is not gonna do what at least, let's see, Money in the Bank 2018, 2019, 2020. 5 of the 6 Money in the Bank of all the women's Money in the Bank winners, of all the Miss Money in the Banks, only one has actually carried that briefcase and actually carried it and had a story revolving around it. All of the other Money in the Bank winners on the women's side, they either cashed in the day of the pay-per-view, and just cashed in at a later time, or in Asuka's case, she cashed in the Monday night following Money in the Bank 2020, and that was probably one of the more interesting Money in the Banks, because what we would eventually realize, and what Asuka would eventually realize, is that that year's Money in the Bank briefcase for the women's side wasn't actually for a championship opportunity. It was for the championship, because we all know what happened. Becky announced she was pregnant, and so she had to give up the title. And so, but other than that, all the other Money in the Bank winners on the women's side have cashed in on the exact same day as the pay-per-view. Alexa Bliss cashed in during the Ronda Rousey versus Nia Jax match. Bayley cashed in immediately following the Charlotte Flair versus Becky Lynch match for the SmackDown Women's title at Money in the Bank 2019. Actually, no. Nikki ASH cashed in the Monday night following Money in the Bank 2021. Her reign was basically a dud. So was Liv Morgan, who also cashed in the same day as Money in the Bank 2022 against Ronda Rousey. Her reign was also basically like non-existent. It's like it might as well have not even happened. It was so terrible. But Io Sky, I do not believe Io Sky will cash in on the same day. Will cash in right away if she does win Money in the Bank, and from what I've heard, she is the favorite to win the women's Money in the Bank ladder match. And she would be the obvious choice. Becky Lynch, I don't think she even needs the win. Zelina Vega, she basically got her Money in the Bank win last night on SmackDown, and then she basically got... And so that basically probably means that she's not going to win it. The same with Santos Escobar. I think he got his Money in the Bank win tonight against LA Knight, and that's the biggest. And he's not going to win the Money in the Bank ladder match. He's been in a few ladder matches. He's been in quite a few ladder matches though down in NXT. So I kind of like that. He was in a couple ladder matches at Stand and Deliver for the NXT North American. Twice, I think it was for the NXT North American title, and so he's been in ladder matches before, and I've seen some of them. And I don't think I've seen them, but I probably should at some point. Hey Danny. Looks like Moxley was in rare form tonight. I saw at least 4 or 5 troll accounts. Every single one of them, I'm pretty sure, is Moxley. Riley Gilbert, Danny Hogan, Dark Angel, Mr. Pickles. Yeah, right. Michael Alexander Jr. Yuck. They can go to you-know-what. south of heaven, pretty much. Yeah. But yeah. I mean, I don't know how long Io Sky will hold the briefcase if she does win it, but this may be only the second time that a woman has won Money in the Bank and has actually decided not to cash in immediately and has actually kept it for a long period of time. Just how long, I don't know. Then we saw Santos Escobar versus LA Knight. This match also lasted barely 3 minutes. Like, SmackDown was in rare form tonight when it came to their 2 3-minute matches, because almost every match, with the exception of the Gauntlet match, and even then, the tag team matches we got during that Gauntlet match, they barely lasted 2-3 minutes tops. Pretty Deadly versus Brawling Brutes, they were the longest match on the entire card, lasting 8 minutes, while the entire Gauntlet match itself probably lasted at least 20 minutes, maybe, if you add up all the time of the other tag teams matches combined for the entire Gauntlet match. It probably lasted 20 minutes. The entire Gauntlet match itself probably lasted 20 minutes, but just the one-on-one matches didn't last very long. And then we get to my favorite part of SmackDown, which was the Grayson Waller effect, with Grayson Waller and Charlotte Flair. Like, I had a lot to say last week. When Charlotte Flair came back last week and basically decided that she was going to skip the line and just demand a title shot. Oh, and here's what I think is the problem. She's a baby face. She's supposed to be a baby face, and yet she's doing exactly what she was doing as a heel and is demanding title shots because she thinks she deserves a title shot. And she doesn't think that anybody else deserves a title shot other than her. Like, no, that is clearly a Charlotte Flair. That is the old Charlotte Flair. That is heel Charlotte Flair, not babyface Charlotte Flair. If Charlotte Flair really was a babyface and they were committed to her being a babyface, she wouldn't be going out there and demanding title shots. She would be letting other people get a chance at the spotlight instead of trying to steal the spotlight as she always does. That's exactly what she was doing when she was a heel and not a babyface. I mean, I guess she's a babyface now because she's not talking smack about everybody all the time. She's now basically just being nice to the crowd and to everybody. And I guess that makes her babyface just because she's nice and doesn't talk trash anymore. Come on, she's demanding title shots. That's a heel move, not a babyface move. A babyface wouldn't have to demand a title shot. A babyface would simply just ask for a title shot instead of saying, I want a title shot. Give me a title shot. Yeah, but that's just, look. I am convinced that they want Charlotte Flair to break her father's record. I'm convinced. If Cena doesn't do it, or if like Randy Orton, he has like 14. He has the same amount of world title reigns as Charlotte Flair at 14. If he doesn't do it, then obviously Charlotte Flair is gonna do it. She's gonna break the record. She's gonna get to 17, and then eventually once they do that, then they'll start probably not booking her into the title scene as much. But I feel like if you're not a champion, you don't have to constantly be in the title picture to be relevant and have a relevant storyline. Like, let's say the Bloodline storyline right now, it doesn't even need to involve the titles. Roman Reigns does not need the titles right now for this storyline to actually work. I mean, maybe it eventually will. Maybe eventually he will need the titles. I'm sure eventually, because I'm sure eventually we're gonna get Jimmy versus Roman Reigns for the undisputed titles, because that's where it's gonna eventually lead to. I'm sure. I know some people are probably saying Jay should be the one to end it, and no, it's not gonna. Jay's not winning the titles. Jay's not winning the titles. Yes, he's probably going to be the one to cost Roman the titles eventually. Whoever does eventually beat him, Jay is going to probably be the one, if not one of the people, to cost him the titles, yes, but he's not actually winning the titles per se. Yes, him, Jimmy, and Solo are eventually going to be the ones to cost him the titles, but none of them are actually going to win the titles. I still believe Cody Rhodes should be the one to do it, but I don't know. But I don't know anymore. The way they booked him versus Brock Lesnar basically to the ground, it's making me not want Roman Reigns, making me not want that match ever. Rematch. But yeah, and then we got Bianca Belair coming out, and basically what she did was basically just, and you would have loved what she roasted Charlotte Flair. She roasted Charlotte Flair. She's like, okay, like you went away for 2 months, and then you come back and immediately say, I deserve a title shot. Like, am I tripping or am I tripping? Like yeah. Like you are not. Yeah. Bianca, you have no reason. Bianca Belair has no reason to be sorry. Does not need to be sorry for anything she does from here on out. Because she's basically, and if the rumors are true and she is turning heel, I like what they're doing, and that they're not actually just rushing the heel turn, and they're just letting it naturally happen. Like obviously you get, now I do get sometimes where they say they want, now I know there are some people out there that say that in order to be a heel you have to be mean and vicious and you can't give a crap, and that's the only way you can be a heel, is if you're just mean and vicious and don't give a crap, and be aggressive. The only way to be a heel is to be aggressive. And
got about 15
okay
minutes. Okay, how you feeling?
Okay. I mean, I know some people will tell you that in order to be a heel, you have to be aggressive. But there's nothing that says you can't be a babyface and be aggressive. You can have an aggressive babyface, just don't do anything heelish, and people are gonna start to think that you're a heel. But you can have an aggressive baby face, but what you can't have is a baby face that just lets people walk all over them. And it's pretty clear from last night that Bianca Belair is basically done and is basically tired of playing quote unquote playing nice with Asuka and Charlotte Flair. She's basically calling her shot, and whoever wins. And I believe we could actually get a triple threat match at SummerSlam between Charlotte Flair, Asuka, and Bianca. It'll be a great match. All three of them have been in the ring together now at least a couple of times. We saw Charlotte Flair and Bianca Belair a couple of times in 2021, leading up to Crown Jewel. We've now seen Asuka and Bianca in the ring twice now, wrestling each other. A third time would just be pointless. A third time one-on-one would be pointless. And then we've seen Asuka versus Charlotte Flair twice now for a title. We've even seen Charlotte Flair and Asuka as a team in late 2020 into 2021 when they won the women's tag team titles, which was
which was an interesting move, considering I think she was still a heel at the time. But it is what it is. It is what it is. But she roasted Charlotte Flair. I can't remember everything that was said. But basically she said was, you went away for 2 months and then you come back and you just expect a title opportunity just to hand it to you. Like, yeah, that's basically the thing that I don't get with Charlotte Flair is she goes, like, as soon as she loses a title, she goes away for like a couple of months. Then she comes back and just expects a title shot to be given to her because of her name. Like, that doesn't make sense to me. That just does not make sense to me, and I don't like it. I don't like that Charlotte Flair feels like she's entitled to a title shot simply because she doesn't already have a title. Like, I'm gonna have a title, so I deserve a title shot. And sometimes she actually wins, but sometimes she doesn't. But what I do see happening here, and also Bianca Belair did say she was going. Timeout and hide you, Rogue Mod. Basically, and Bianca Belair did say she was going to be at ringside for Asuka and Charlotte Flair's match, the Friday Night SmackDown on the go home show of SmackDown before Money in the Bank. So what I see happening there is I see her interfering in the match, and then what we get at SummerSlam is a triple threat match. Now, what happens there, I do not know. Whether they have Charlotte Flair actually win that match, because the last time Charlotte Flair was involved in a triple threat match at SummerSlam with a title on the line, she actually did win, which was SummerSlam 2021, when it was Nikki Cross, Nikki ASH versus Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte Flair. Charlotte Flair won the Raw Women's Championship that night. At SummerSlam 2018, it was also a triple threat match. For the Raw Women's Championship. Charlotte Flair won that one as well. So I am so worried that they are going to cut Asuka's reign short simply for another Charlotte Flair reign that will be pointless and will barely last more than a month, maybe a week the most. But I don't know what's going to happen. You already know how I feel about the main event segment, which I thought was great. And it was perfect, and the Usos and Roman Reigns deserved it. He deserved it. I'm sorry, but he deserved it. And now where it's official, we are getting a Bloodline Civil War tag team match. Basically a tag team match, but they're naming it Bloodline Civil War tag team match, which is, I think, actually a good name for a tag team match. Bloodline Civil War tag team match. Jimmy and Jay versus Roman and Solo at Money in the Bank. It's already been confirmed that Roman Reigns is gonna be at Money in the Bank, and he's gonna be in the main event. So that's, I think, a good match to be in the main event. And so I don't know what's gonna happen, but hey, guys, I don't know who's gonna win that match. I would like for Jimmy and Jay to win, but I don't know. They could have Roman and Solo win, but I don't know. But it's almost time for me to go, so I'm gonna have to cut this short, guys. I just want to thank everybody that come in. I think there was only 2 people that actually did come in and comment constantly, like Cameron. Thank you, Cameron, for coming. Thank you, Austin, for coming in. Nitro Freak, not gonna happen. I don't know who you are. I just now noticed you probably knew, but I'm gonna put you in timeout. I think I'm just gonna hide you too, but thank you to everybody that came.
I will see you guys. I don't know when my next workout live stream will be. Like I've said on multiple occasions, it all comes down to whether or not I feel like doing it. And so that's just the way it is sometimes with my workout live streams. If I feel like doing it, it'll happen. If I don't, then it won't happen for a while. But I will see you guys later. And until next time, peace. Bye, guys.